Oh no, he's about to go into PTSD mode again. He's gonna pass out and think about his traumatic past. We swear to God we did not get a bolt. We didn't get a bolt. Bro, no. Anya, don't kill Loid like that. Bruh. I like how they're getting across the animation here. It almost feels like we're being overwhelmed and like we're the one being like pressured by the media right now. All the pages just flying in our face. Such good directing. Hey, scoundrel is a solid insult. If you get called a filthy scoundrel, you just have to say, you know what? That man meant business. If you get called like a dumb douchebag, a bitch, you're kind of like, yeah, that, dumb bitch. But if you get called a scoundrel, see, this is why when I get cut off in traffic, I don't flip people off. I look them in the eye and I do this, because that's going to get under their skin. A scoundrel is one of those moments. I wonder, is this actually going to be a handler-focused episode? We've never had that before. We've had handler heavily involved with Loid, but this seems oddly handler-dominant. I mean, I'm still waiting for more Your Assassin, but I can't deny that more handler isn't a bad option. This dude kind of looks like if Mario let himself go and was no longer saving Mushroom Kingdom. Like, kind of, like, you can see the vibes, right? At the very least, if you've seen the Mario movie, he does look like it could have been Mario's relative at the very least. I get that they were just barely animating it, but it makes it so much more sketchy with you. Like, the fact that there's so little frames to it, it makes him look more schizophrenic. She beat that man with a fucking belt. This dude is so cracked out of his mind, it's insane. That man is 52. That is a hard 52. Okay. I love how she goes from I'm bored as to I don't want to help. That sounds like a lot of work. Oh wait, you said snacks? I'd be helping for sure now. Her positivity is so strong it can't be broke. I'm so glad she can read minds, man. This man, like, just honestly worships the ground she walks on. Like, man, she's a failure and she just refuses to give up. She's the hardest working student in this kingdom. I'm lock and loaded these days. But, like, imagine getting expelled from school because you forgot a handkerchief. Like, Harvard, you know? Like, that shit. Even with mind reading, she doesn't know what the f he's saying. That is hilarious. I love how they're having two different conversations despite her knowing what he thinks. Because, like, really, we're trusting the future of a goddamn war on the shoulders of, like, some 6-year-old who, like, kind of knows what's going on, but also thinks superheroes are real. So it causes a f***ing mess. But I swear to God, if the joke is gonna be that he passes out and we know internally he's thinking about his traumatic childhood every time he thinks she cut a bolt, I'm gonna die. This show, even upon weaker episodes, which I think you could safely say this one was, it's still great. I'm sure many will think it fell off, but I'm enjoying this one still. But that's just a small taste of the full live reaction. You can catch that over on Patreon. Let's jump into the review. Got a lot to talk about still. So Spy Family was an interesting episode this week, and to be honest, I'd probably say it was the weakest episode out of the current season. But before you get all up in arms, Brandon, how dare you, still had a lot of fun with it. Just some episodes are not going to be as good as others, especially when you're coming off of arguably the best content, that being Loid's backstory. I was interested, would they be able to immediately try to match that tone, or would they do something else? And they decided to do something else, and honestly, I appreciate it, because even if, like, the handler stuff wasn't my favorite part anywhere close to anything I've seen over these 40-some-odd episodes, at the same time, the thing I can respect about a show like Spy Family is they actually do a fairly good job at making characters, especially side characters, more than just handler is Loid's boss, and she kind of has a spicy attitude. The fact that they dedicated, like, 3/4 of this episode to a handler-dominated episode, and the fact that she was the one in the driver's seat, we get to see how the organization works when Loid's not always involved. Like, I appreciate it. I don't want every episode to look like that, but at the same time, if you don't have moments like these, you don't get to necessarily build those characters to being more than just their role. Like, when I initially got introduced to Frankie, I wasn't the biggest fan of the guy. I didn't hate him, but I was like, you know, if they never show me, like, major development with this guy, I'm not going to shed a tear. But over the seasons, I've really grown to appreciate him. Yours brother, weird bro, weird entity, but the more they do flesh him out, especially when he's not around the more I appreciate him. Same thing with Handler. So I appreciate what they did. And the fact that they decide to end it with an Anya-focused little segment is the perfect way to capstone an episode like this, because I guarantee you the majority of the discussion that are really deep diving this are going to say, man, episode fell off from last week, or it's not even close to what we've seen the show be, and probably true. But it also reminds us that this show allows its characters to be a part of a living, breathing world. And yeah, they ended on a very fun segment, because Anya, at the end of the day, you could slap an Anya segment on the most dogshit episode and it would probably leave you with a small grin on your face. Granted, I never think Spy Family has reached that, but my point stands. It's really nice though, because this man has always been someone I've respected at the school. Like, ever since we got introduced to him, I was just like, this man sees elegance in Anya and just elegance in the world that I just absolutely love it. And the idea that he's like, all right, you're sitting on the bench, you know, you're all by yourself. Hey, come walk with me. I'll give you some treats and some tea if you help me carry the books. Anya, that I don't want to do any work. I'll sit on this boring ass bench. It's really funny too, because the thing I've always really liked about Anya and why I think she's the star attraction of this show is they legitimately treat her as a child. There's nothing weird with her. There's nothing overly complex past where she should. She has the ability to read into people's minds. Naturally, she's going to know more than your average 6-year-old. I forget how old she is. It doesn't matter. My point stands. But at the end of the day, she's still a child. Things don't really make sense to her. She understands basics, but she also doesn't understand the full picture of things. So even when reading minds, she still fumbles. And it's just really great to see how much they treat her as a child while also like allowing her to be the saving grace so often. And also, there's the moment when he's showing her all of the pictures and he's basically like, why do you want Stella's? Like, why do you want to succeed? We know, and I think anyone who really deep dives in this world would be like, oh, she's trying to help her father. Like, her father wants to do this. Even if they don't know about Loid's mission, they'd be able to be like, oh, wait, she's doing this to impress her dad. But I love the fact that he points out a student who had 6 of the bolts, and like, hey, even this one who's on this wall had some fumbles. You can actually excel. And you got a sense that Anya actually looked at that and said, huh, up to this point, I've been doing everything for dad, but I kind of want to do this for myself too. And that's something I didn't really consider up until this episode, probably similar to Anya, is that she can learn a lot from this school. It's hard as hell, but the concepts that and the teachings that they have, imagine if Anya really does buckle down. Smart kid turns into a smart adult with mind reading power. She could do a lot for this world, or she'll be a lazy bum. You never know. But it's great. She goes home and she's like, yeah, I'm ready to study. Unfortunately for us, we now know anytime Anya is enthusiastic about studying, it sends Loid into cardiac arrest and he has PTSD of his childhood and he assumes that means she's got another bolt. She might actually be the death of Loid. Anya might unironically be the way Loid dies, and that is the funniest and most tragic and most amazing thing all in one. Stop, Anya. He's already dead. Leave him be. At this point, I think her option would be to tell Yor that she wants to study, and then Yor gently gets Loid to help her. That might be the buffer that saves his heart. Let me know your thoughts down below on this week's episode. Drop a like, show your support, subscribe if you're new around your patrons, of course, because it's full live reactions, all this and more. And hey, I also like to give video shoutouts to my patrons. Alrighty, so today we got Simulcrum, Troy, Game Senpai, Iciel Sasiro, Michael Meadows, Sleepfish, and we also have Wayne Delquist. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.